This is going to be a powerful video. Now, in the title, I titled this video as S3X Dreams on Semen Retention, mainly because I want to focus on getting through the algorithm so that this message can reach as many people as possible. So, I've had a lot of comments on one of my previous videos on semen retention, and a lot of the questions regarding the topic was how to deal with wet dreams and how to deal with S3X dreams. So I'm going to go through in this video and talk a little bit about the two kinds of dreams that you'll have on retention. Likely, I haven't really met anybody that hasn't had a wet dream before on some point of their retention journey. And there's a few reasons for this, but also even in my research, for example, which I'll include in a link below, is the Practice of Brahmacharya PDF. Now, this was written by a practicing holy person. I don't know if you would actually call them a holy person per se, but it was written by a monk of sorts. And so they talk about all of the different practices of celibacy and the benefits for men and women in celibacy, spiritual celibacy, and what happens in a lot of these different kinds of relationships where lust is considered a commodity, where sex is considered a commodity. Now, with that being said, the two different types of dreams that you'll have is one of physical or physiological pollution, and then the other is pathological pollution. So essentially, in physiological pollution, you will be refreshed. And it should be noted here that pollution doesn't necessarily mean like you're polluting your mind. This is just the release, right, during the dream. Because when you dream, like, you don't really have a lot of control over it. There are things that you can do to minimize it, but you don't really have a lot of control when you're dreaming, unless you are capable of being in the dream, knowing that it's a dream. Then you can have like lucid dreaming. You can make changes there if you know you're dreaming. But in the physiological pollution, you'll be refreshed, and this is something that may happen very occasionally. You may also note that the release is very full. It's not thin at all, and it is just, you feel calm afterward. This is really just what happens when there's a buildup that needs to be released over time. This is also part of the natural process of your body just recycling old sperm so that it can make room for new. And it'll just go through your body and just refresh the whole body. Now, pathological pollution, however, is where you've been actively entertaining seductive or lustful thoughts. And the caveat with this, in my perception, also has to do with in the Bible, there's a little bit of not specific talk of spiritual spouses, but there is a verse in Corinthians that I want to share. And so this is also something that happens in the pathological pollution. Essentially, it's a soul tie. Now, this soul tie can be emotional and spiritually based, and it can or cannot be physically based as well. But if you have some kind of mental connection with this person that you seem to have like a deep connection with, but you're not really sure, like there's a lot of teeter-tottering in the relationship, I'll go through some of the signs of a spiritual spouse after I read this verse in Corinthians. So this is 1 Corinthians 6:15 is the starting point, and it says, "Know ye not that your bodies are members of Christ? Shall I then take the members of Christ and make them the members of an harlot? Now, a harlot, just for anybody that doesn't know, is essentially a hoe. So, shall I take the members of Christ and make them a harlot? God forbid. What know ye not, that ye which is joined to an harlot is of one body? For two, saith he, shall be one flesh. But he that is joined unto the Lord is one spirit. Flee fornication, for every sin that a man doeth is without the body. But he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body. So what does that exactly mean? It means that when you are having intimate relationships with people that you know are not good for you, whether you're a male or female, this is not going to be good for your soul. It's not going to be good for your spirit. And in fact, you're actually just, it's almost like you're allowing this part of your heart to be taken away from you without wanting to give it, truly give it. It's being taken from you. So whenever, like, I'll just say this, there was a time where I was like fun. I wanted to have fun. I wanted to have a one-night stand. I have a few one-night stands. And I can honestly say that every time that I was done doing that, like I had this kind of clarity, right? And there's this saying called post-nut clarity in on YouTube here, and you know that it is what it is. But I guess you could call it that, and I had that every time, and I was I was not the person I am now. We'll just leave it at that, you know. But now that I'm on this journey, this is a renewed form and sense of understanding of what it means to sin against my own body. Sinning against my own body just basically means to use yourself and to destroy your own soul for the sake of fleshly pleasure. Now, the part where it talks about where you're joining with a harlot will be one flesh, this means that you will have a spiritual spouse. Now, men and women can have spiritual spouses, but particularly in regards to this topic regarding semen retention, I'm going to be speaking directly with the men here, or to the men. So, signs of a spiritual spouse include the enticing of seductive lure. This person can be very stubborn or aggressive or even dangerous. They may have a sense of wanting to kill your joy. Now again, these apply to both men and women, but I'm speaking directly to men here. They can entice with some kind of selling you of a dream. They can entice you with some kind of impersonation of a spouse. They can empower lust and decay your soul at the same time. If anybody is trying to lure you in with seductive, like sexual things first, now that's something that you should be wary of. Now, women primarily have like their agency, their primary agency and resource of utility in the global market is their sexual ability. And if you don't believe me, then why the hell are we having OnlyFans all over the West? And why do we have simps just giving women money just because they take their clothes off? You know, this is like the reason that women take their clothes off primarily is because it's profitable in some kind of way, whether it's for attention, whether it's for some kind of resource or money, something like that. It's not and it's not profitable in the sense of renewing your spirit or your soul. So anyway, those are just a few things to look out for when you have a spiritual spouse. Now, with the spiritual spouse, you may also be encountering in your dreams. You might meet people in your dreams. Your spiritual spouse could also be someone in your life that you know now. Now, throughout my journey of 10 months, over these past 10 months, I've had multiple S3X dreams with a lot of different kinds of I would say feminine spirits. And some of them, like, the scary thing is that it just feels really realistic. It can be so realistic because, I mean, the more that you fight against your own flesh, the more that you fight against your own sins, the more that you fight against your own downfalls and weaknesses, the harder the satanic forces are going to attack you. And make no mistake, for women, if you have an S3X dream with a man, that is an incubus, right? Now, for men, if they have an S3X dream with a woman, that is a succubus. They are just basically male and masculine and feminine spirits that are demonic in nature, that try to lure you into having some kind of sexual activity using their charm or their looks or whatever it is to take your soul. That's really what it's about. And so whenever you have the pollution that is pathological, whenever you have the pathological pollution, in my experience, I felt very tired for like 2 days. Like there were some times where, like, it would take me 3 days to kind of feel normal again. And again, I don't count those S3X dreams as relapses. I don't count that at all because, I mean, you're asleep, like, and if you're already taking the actions to change in the physical world, then of course your spiritual demons are going to come out. But this is part of the process. You don't need to feel bad about yourself for going through these things. You don't need to feel like you relapse, because it's not. It's just not. So these are just a few things to look out for in the pathological pollution. You might be fine within like a day, maybe even less too. But in my case, it takes like 2 to 3 days for me to feel okay. Now, for the physiological pollution, where I just have leftover semen that needs to be recycled, I'm fine within a few hours. Like, I can be a little bit tired. Like, there's been times where it's happened like an hour before I need to wake up to go to the gym, and yeah, it's not fun. It's not comfortable to go to the gym, because you just feel very, like, you're so calm. You're like, I don't really want to be here. I kind of just want to keep laying in bed because I'm just so relaxed. But you got to keep doing what you got to do, man. So those are just a few things to look out for as well. Now, you also might be feeling headaches or some kind of like drowsy sensation, or maybe even burning of the eyes to some degree. I know for me, whenever I'm fighting seductive spirits, sometimes my ears will ring when I think about certain things. When it's my left ear ringing, I've noticed that after these dreams, I'm having an inner revelation of some kind. Whereas if my right ear rings, I'm more having like an external an external confrontation that I'm going to have or that I've had recently that has led me to this point. So there were times on this journey where it's freaking crazy, man. Like, it's so fucking crazy. And like I've had to turn down like really beautiful women who would have never even looked my way 2 years ago. Like, they would have never even looked my way 2 years ago, and now I'm having to turn them down because of my own principles and my own values. I mean, they are beautiful women, but they're not of God. That's for sure. You know, and this is going to happen to you likely. This is going to happen to some of you where you're not going to meet a lot of different kinds. You're going to meet a lot of different kinds of women on this journey, and a lot of them are not going to be for you. You know, it's so weird how, like, I walk into a room, and this is going to probably happen to you too. You feel as though, and you can just sense intuitively that there's like 5 to 10 women in this room that are looking at you, that want you. And you can just look at them and you just have like this sharp, focused ability to just say, nope, no, nope. Yeah. Let's talk to her. Let's talk to her and see what she's about. So, and even then again, like, whenever you start talking to them, they're going to naturally show you who they are, but you have to have the discernment to see it. You have to make sure that you are not entering a relationship with someone that is a fornicator. And the reason being is because when you do such a thing, it's going to hurt your soul in the long run. Now, I also want to bring up one more verse from the Bible, which is Matthew 24:12. And it says, "And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold." So what does that mean? It means that a lot of you good men out there that are on this journey might come across as cold-hearted to a lot of these women. I know I have. I have come across as a rude motherfucker because I just don't even look their way, and that's just who I am. I don't like to look your way if I know that you've got demons. I don't like it. I don't like having to look at people that I know are dealing with a lot of shit that they don't want to confront. Now, it's different if you want to confront it. If you are willing to change your behaviors, all right, like, I can stand beside you. I can't walk your walk, but I can stand with you and support you there. I can be a presence for you. But that's the thing, you know, a lot of these men and women, a lot of men don't want to do semen retention. 99% of the men in the fucking world, at least in the West, every day or two are looking at some kind of website. Like, if you are on this journey, you are not like a lot of other guys out there, okay? You are not like a lot of those other guys that are just flipping their flap and doing the slap. You know, the slap and go. It's not you know, you're not putting your phallus in that pink palace, right? So this is what happens. This is what happens when you are on this journey. Women want a prize. This is something I've really come to realize over the past year. Women want the prize way more than men do. Men want to idealize a prize. Women want a prize. So when women are acting in such a way around you, it's going to be natural. It's going to be, you can just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride and do what you need to do. And if she wants to come along in the passenger seat, great. If not, well, like Jimi Hendrix says, 90 miles an hour, girl, is the speed I drive. So you got to keep moving forward, full speed ahead, man. And so I was going to say one more thing about women, specifically on retention, but oh yes. So women can also just smell this, right? They can smell this on you. And you have to be very careful to not invite chaos or attention-seeking women into your life. If you notice, and this is something you're also going to notice even more so the longer you go on this journey, and for me, it's only intensified. It's like I can already see what kind of woman you are right off the bat, man. Right off the bat. Now, I'm not saying that you cannot have intimate relationships with women. I'm not saying that, because the Bible says not to fornicate, right? That those are the commandments, not to fornicate. And the term husband and wife nowadays is, at least in the West, I don't believe in modern marriage at this point. Like, I used to be a romantic guy. I used to love the idea of romance. And it got me into a lot of trouble, and it got me into a lot of heartache. And finally, when I realized that I need to stop comforting the comforted, and I need to start working with the afflicted so that we can be comforted in that affliction, right? So this is a really key thing to understand in modern marriage, is that as a man in the West, if you get married, you are not the head of the household. Neither is the woman, no matter how much she wants to wear the pants or not. You know, the government is. The government will be that final say. And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And so I also don't think there's anything wrong with having concubines in your life. And I also don't think there's anything wrong with having options and exercising those options as a man. Women is very different. I don't even like to talk to girls that are talking to other guys at the same time. I don't like it at all. And I don't like talking to or dating girls that are not interested in being with me and me only. It's not fun for anybody involved, because I know physiologically and biologically and emotionally, men and women have intimate relationships for different reasons. Men don't have relationships because they're emotionally attached all the time. Women do. Women absolutely do. And so if you have an emotional investment in another guy as a woman, when you're with another guy, the likelihood of you seeing that other guy as your alpha is extremely high and probable. And so I don't even want to be around you or talk to you if you're talking to other guys. There's nothing for me to get from taking another guy's girl. Like there's nothing for me to get. I have more respect from man to man for that as well. And if any of you guys are trying to steal your friend's girl, honestly, I don't understand why you're doing that or why you're trying to do that. It's not only disrespecting to your friend, it's disrespecting to the girl, and it's disrespecting to the relationships all around involved. And to yourself, really. So I don't recommend that either. But anyways, guys, I feel like this has been a pretty solid video. And there's been a lot of information provided. I hope this information is insightful and informative. And please give a like and subscribe or a comment if you have any questions or anything like that. And that's really the best way you can support this channel as well at this time. Till next time, peace be with you.